you recite us up there, God.
All right. The prayer of Amun-Rayay, written by Panabab Yanun. The cooks who took be Amun-Rayay. Unabab Mumaduhu. Umadayadhu. Umuzerhu. Lipanen Zaman Wakat.
This call will be recorded.
El Hamadad Ater Le Amun-Rayay. The Tar Shalil Taha. Ayuke Nuwapu. I trust our way of Amun-Rayay and his master teachers and his papyri and his warner for this day and time. All praises are for Amun-Rayay, the God, overseer of the heavens and the earth. I am Nuwapian.
Thank you. Very good, son. All right, who is that first spiritual experience you'd like to share with us?
Amun, I love to share mine.
Very good. Good.
Yeah, it was interesting that I turn on YouTube. I listen to YouTube, your channel, every morning before I go and do my work.
Yeah, good.
And I would listen to one of your class. You were talking about the UPAT experience. Number 9, 2 years ago, you was talking about the bear. And my mom, my son, and even Kiefer can vouch for this. That was the sign that I was saying that I was, even when they first met me, was the bear. It was no coincidence me find out that's what you were saying, you was the bear. So I thought that was well spiritual for me to know that was
yeah, very good. Yeah. One connection about the bears, you all will recognize that there were commercials on television not too very long in the distant past where there was always a bear there catching fish, knocking people off the bike, following white people into their house, a big bear. And another example is that I lived in California 17 years, and that was the Big Bear State. And what it is as the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, so shall also be the coming of the Son of Man in the west, right? But I'm very happy about that, son. Bless you, soul. And who's the next person who has a spiritual experience they'd like to share with us?
Yes, sir. This is Ivory. But my mother, she has a other, like, her. I'm doing amazing, but she has her perspective of the story, which we brought to you during the other day, explaining how whenever she'll walk into the room to find me laying down and she couldn't find me, or she wouldn't see me laying on the bed until she called my name and she said I just pop up. And then I had that experience from other people who said the same thing when they go to look for me. Or they swear I was in the bed and I wasn't in the bed.
Right.
I was located somewhere else.
It's a brother Satak here from Chicago.
Roll back, yes.
Okay. So, Tad, can you tell people, sometimes when you would visit me, you'd be sitting in a rocking chair, I'd lay across the bed, and we would do chants and go into the arm vibration. What would I do?
You make yourself invisible.
That's right. You would ask me, do that again, and I would do that for you a couple of times again. Yeah, right. That's right. We can do that. And Anuka, when we walk sometimes, go ahead, son, you were saying?
I can say I can never forget it because
it was dark.
Thinking about the blue light body, and during that time I was like, what is that? And I wanted to see it, and I can never forget it. I'm very grateful.
I love you. And Katana, you here from Africa?
Robert, I'm here.
Rahubat, son, how are you? I just thought it'd be interesting if you could tell people, when you first started coming here around the same time as Attack to visit me, when you were asleep upstairs in the bed, what happened to you one night?
Yeah, actually the first night I was there when I came to visit, the very first time, the very first night I slept in the house, on the bed upstairs, I woke, and in the middle of the night, I felt myself levitating above the bed. I felt myself lifting up, and then I felt myself floating back down.
That's very interesting. I know the first time that Satak moved stars was here on his visit too. All the guys were moving stars, and he wanted so bad to do it. He would get up after everybody was in the bed to sleep and be outside in the front trying to move stars by himself. But I asked him if he really wanted to do that, and he said yeah. And I asked him would he commit himself to helping us raise the $144,000. If he had that gift, he said yes. So I put my hand on your shoulders, Satak, and what happened that night?
I've been able to move stars ever since. The most amazing night of my life, I must say. I
love you. I love you. All right, very good, family. Now, who has that first question they'd like to ask? I anticipated a lot of visitors here tonight. And one of them was Shanice Houston in Michigan. Are you here, sister? And the brothers are from Telegram. Corey Robinson, are you here?
I got a question.
Very good. I'll do my best.
Was really not a question, but like an experience. I just wanted like an explanation of some because sometimes I live with my brother. I live with the brothers Ibree, and sometimes whenever I be checking if he's like home or not in his bed, sometimes he just like it looks like he disappears in his bed. But like I'm like okay, like he's out of the house. But once like I be doing my thing like in the house, he just spawns back in and he just gets up. I'm like, I thought he wasn't home. Like, how's he, like, not in his bed? I swear sometimes he's not in his bed, but sometimes he is. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it.
I'll follow you. What it is he's phasing in and out of different dimensions. You follow me?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I'm glad you had to bear witness to it. And stay close. We love you. You'll learn, too. And your name is?
I'm Elijah. I'm the twin of Isaiah.
All right. Everybody, please welcome the brother home.
Welcome home, brother. Love and light.
Welcome home, brother. Stay close.
Welcome home.
All right. Very good. All right. That first question now.
Amun, how do you picture this winter would be?
This winter, I figure will not really be winter. You know, in Revelations in the scriptures it says about that you wouldn't be able to tell one season from the other, right? And it's not typical in Georgia to be in the 80s this time of year. We had a flash freeze, coming down to a blast of cold air, Arctic air from Canada last week, and it was unseasonably chilly. But then the very next day, it was in the 80s here in Georgia, and I thought that was phenomenal. And it's still there. It's just like summertime out there.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You follow me? And there are a lot of other things that you have to refer to the Mandela effect. Just research the Mandela effect and see there are a lot of odd occurrences. One of the things, the Jiffy peanut butter is now just simply Jif, J-I-F. Magic mirror on the wall, which used to be mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all, right? So there are a lot of things that we took for granted as that was just normalcy. It's like J.C. Penney is now J.C. Penney. Are you following me? And there's no reason to change corporate names like that. It's just that we're in a new heaven and new earth. There are many Bible changes that you'll find. The Lord's Prayer is very much different. Geography is different. In this new heaven and new earth, the dimensional shift. When you look at a round globe, it's very easy to see that the continents of Africa and South America are only apparently a stone's throw apart, right? Where that you had two very large oceans. When I was in school, the Atlantic and Pacific, the Atlantic not quite as large, but it was still a very large ocean. But now when you look at the geography of Africa and South America, like I said, it looks like you can hit one continent with a rock from the other. You follow me? And there's an extra long peninsula on Australia, and it used to be not there. That anyway, that 600 miles within Asia. That's why they used to call it the land down under. And I think you'll find that the island of Madagascar has surprises if you look it out. The country of China is much smaller, even though the population is larger. The United States is more elongated. It's shorter from north to south, but it's longer from east to west than it was previously. The shape of Italy, right there. A lot of things that you have to check out. You know, just for example, when you look at the sky, like I said, there were normally 4,500 visible stars with the unaided eye from the southern hemisphere and 4,500 stars visible from the northern hemisphere with the unaided eye without optics, binoculars, etc. But now, when you look up at the sky on even a clear night, you can count all the stars practically on one hand. The question is where are all the stars? Because there's a new heaven and a new earth. And the former things are passing away. There'll be something else that you'll notice is that there used to be a lot of children out coming from school on buses with backpacks and crowds going to stores, riding skateboards, crowding up, playing tag, laughing and joking, but those children are not out there anymore like they used to be. Where are all the children at? And in many of your major metropolitan areas, you see that there are a lot of locked up businesses and boarded homes, etc. Now, how is it possible for people to be vacant in every city? Where could they possibly be going? Are you following what I'm saying? So there are a lot of questions that people are just not recognizing the differences, and they wonder when the dimensional shift is going to start, but we're well into it. Believe what I tell you. And if you want more proof, just ask for it. In the meantime, who has that next question? And well, let me ask, how many of you all have received these spiritual packages?
I did, Messiah.
I have them, man.
Very good. Very good.
I'm still waiting to receive mine, Amun.
Okay, you in Canada, it probably takes a little bit longer. How about California?
Yeah.
I received mine, Amun. It's funny you should ask, because I got it the day we had language class on Tuesday with Aaron, Sister Anka, and Brother Hadar. And
okay, now let's make that announcement. Now, what's that? For those of you interested in learning the Nawapic language, and it's vitally important that we all do. So what would be the times of the classes, Walt? The language class?
It's gonna be at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, and the phone number to that room. Somebody needs to repeat it.
267 number.
Okay.
It's on the 267.
The whole number, Anukas.
Oh.
The whole number is 267-807-9598, and the code is 760-434-213 #.
Do you all have that? Or you need to have it repeated? That's for anybody interested in learning Nawapic, our language. And it is necessary. Go ahead.
Could you repeat that?
Yes, repeat it one more time. And this is 267-807-9598.
06079598. And the code is 760434-213 #.
All right, and again, that's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday. And I want to add that Ha is an excellent teacher. All right. So, we have that next question coming, I hope.
I have a question.
I'll do my best.
Okay, now I know you mentioned that Barack was one of the fallen angels. And my question is, are there any other presidents that are as well?
Yes, Donald Trump is one. Donald Trump is one. And as far as the list of the 200 fallen angels, they are in the Holy Tablets in 2 places, right? But Barack is listed as Baraquiel in the Holy Tablets under the fallen angels, right? But there are 10 more leaders of 10 of the leaders that are under subjection to Samjaza. There are 10 more leaders. And there were originally 210 fallen angels, but 10 went back. And a lot of people have to understand that that was the second fall, because the first fall was under Tarnush, where he brought down, as a much more powerful and pure reptile, he brought about 1/3 of the stars from heaven. And the sun, Iblis, being weaker because he was the result of the rape of an Anunnaki woman named, a very negative Anunnaki woman named Melita under a tree. And that resulted between Melita and Tarnush fathering Iblis, him being a much weaker reptilian. He only brought down, caused the fall of 210. And like I said, 10 went back. That was the 200. But it's significant to mention again that Panabab Yanun, bless his soul, my brother, he and I are one, at the Athens ball, that when the comedian and the magician got through doing their acts, he walked up the stairs onto the stage. And this is a thing that a lot of young people don't know, and the older ones, for some reason, don't reveal things to them. But when he passed by the young comedian, he told him, don't crack a joke about me because I'll put a curse on you. It scared the young man so bad, he became part of the tapestry, the back curtain sliding along trying to get around Malachi. And Malachi walked back and forth, pacing the stage very intensely. And every now and then he would stop and gaze out at the crowd of Nuwapians, of which I was there, and the brother Hotep here with me right now, he was there, and many of you were there. When he said, he approached the podium and very sincerely looked out and said, mute your phones. He said, you Nuwapians are those fallen angels. Why do you have your phone open? Is this one of the fallen angels doing that tonight?
You know it is.
We are gathered here tonight. All right? And that has a lot of implications, right?
Yes.
Yes. Because there are a lot of celestial mechanics that people don't understand. I hear young and impetuous people that they weren't even alive when Malachi was walking free. They're so young, but they follow the band, and they say he's the Messiah. Malachi is the Messiah, the only Savior. There's nobody coming after him. And they say so many ridiculous things. And I just look at these older beings that are still alive and still around that could quite easily straighten them out and set the record straight, but they will not do that. And it's very unfortunate, the blind leading the blind like that. But if you all have any questions about any of these things, now's the time to ask. Because I've been walking with Malachi back to back longer than most of you all have been in the world. I've been walking with him now approaching 50 years. like he says always in his personal letters to me and in Scripture, he and I are one. Go ahead. Your question is, or your statement, son?
My other question real quick was about the Second War.
I'll do my best.
And, about the Second War, were there other angels that fell, or what happened during that time, the Second War?
In the Second War, like I said, 10 came back when they recognized the situation on Earth, and they regretted and repented and were accepted back into the heavenly realm, into the Intergalactic Confederation. All right?
Okay.
But evidence of some of the wars during the first fall were like settlements in Pumapuku. Do your research, Pumapuku, and in India and all around the world, you had works, large edifices and architecture that was put up in the world, that there was more a heavier population then than there are now of people, and grander architecture because they built with stone, intended to last forever. But there was evidence of nuclear attacks. They had nuclear weapons back then when there was war in the heavens. And the fact that these large monumental buildings with stones weighing hundreds of tons were scattered about like toys, like a child that got mad with his blocks and like a giant stepped on them and scattered them all over, like Pumapuku and other places like that. And then another thing they noticed is that when they did carbon dating, or when they checked out the sand, for example, that it's now and still remains vitrified glass. That could only be caused by extreme heat, nuclear blast, right? Which is evidence that there were nuclear bombs dropped on the sites. So there are a lot of things that you all should question, and tonight is the time to get some answers and truth, right? And it's unfortunate, like I said, there's so many youthful brothers and sisters that are caught up in the flow, and they're being led by these youngsters that are, imitating leaders and saying they're this and that, and it's not grounded in reality in any shape, form, or fashion, and it's really unfortunate, right? They haven't taken that long walk on the short path with Panababianu, just like I have, and he's stated in many of his personal letters to me that I've proven and I can do again. I can prove who I am, but they can't do that. They just talk. Silver-tongued devils, they talk a lot. And they don't realize, I hope they don't realize how dangerous that is to mislead, throngs of brothers and sisters, and have them walking wide-eyed into the fire under all of these blatant lies, okay? So right now it's late in time, and I only have till 2030, to 31, August 12th, to get you all out of here for the last pickup, right? And time is late, and we don't have any more time for this foolishness, so I think it better now we all think, right? Okay, that said...
Amun, I have a quick question.
I'll do my best. Go ahead, brother.
I listened to one of your tapes on the way to work the other day, and you had mentioned that there are, I guess, pickup spots or like certain safe zones, I believe. But I think the person had kind of cut you off while you were answering.
Okay.
I was wondering if you could go over that.
Yeah. Well, if you can look up the I Am America map, there are 10 locations located on the planet, and 3 of them are in North America. One of those places is Middle Georgia, where Malachi established, Tamaray, right in Middle Georgia, is one of the safe spots. During the height of the apocalypse, you'll be safe in those 10 areas. So, like I said, check out the I Am America map. Look it up, and you can find out where those locations are. All right?
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. I love you. And I hope, brother, that you called the 1-800 number to track your package so you know when you have your estimated time of arrival, right?
No, I didn't get to call yet. I've been busy with work. I'm going to try and call them tomorrow because I finished
Yeah, you
early.
can call them tonight. In
I'll
fact,
give
you can call them whenever. It's a 24/7 service.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do
Yeah,
that
it's
then.
always good to know when it's coming so that you can be kind of prepared to receive it because you want to make sure that nobody else gets that package or it's not misdirected, okay? All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's very important. We all know. Someone else had a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. Why did Malachi decide or choose to reveal that the Nuwapians were the fallen angel? Why did he choose that night?
I don't know what his modus operandi. I don't know what his reasoning was for that. But I noticed that when he said that everybody got real quiet in the place. Nobody raised their hand and said, well, not me. I'm not a fallen angel. You follow what I'm saying? But some people questioned.
Yeah.
They asked a very serious question is that when he said, you Nawabians are those fallen angels, is that they said, well, then who was the leader of the Nawabians when he made that statement? And what was the answer to that question?
He was.
He was the leader of the fallen angels when he said that, right?
Sure.
So some things make you scratch your head without your hand. I'll just say this. He's an angelic being in my guesstimation, because nobody really understands the mind of the Most High and why he does things. But we know that Michael is an angelic being, but the man Malachi Z. York is just a vessel in which the spirit of Michael is placed firmly in his heart to deliver at specific times light messages to the world, right? But these youngsters, they're so confused, they think that Malachi is Michael, the angel. Are you following me? They're not synonymous. Yes. They're not synonymous at all. Michael is a separate entity, a spiritual being that's being placed. Is this you, Corey? There's a brother that says he knows that's true, and I'm glad to hear it, that somebody's woke. Is that you, Corey?
Oh, no, that was hard. That's me.
Okay, very good, huh? Yeah, well, yeah, I'm glad you're there, and you woke. Now, you're a young man with an old head, so yeah, you know that now, anybody wants me to prove that I can do that right now for them. I don't want you leaving his class saying, well, Amun said this or that, right? You were taught not to believe me, but to check it out. You were taught by Malachi to demand proof. And proof is what I offer consistently about the things that come through me. If they want, they're not asking for it. All right.
Go ahead and prove it to him.
All right. Get your holy tablets, everybody. We can start right there. Get your holy tablets. And if you don't have them, well, when you get your spiritual packages, you'll have a disc in there. Thanks to the sister Kiefer and her sister Mel, you'll have the holy tablets on the CD, and you'll have the Injil on the CD, authored by Dr. Malachi Z. York. Or either, if you don't have the text itself, you can just type in Google the holy tablets, Dr. Malachi Z. York, comma, PDF, and it'll come up. Right? Now, give me a second so I can find it myself. What, Aaron? Tell them to go to chapter 8 of the Holy Tablet. All right, I'd like to direct everybody to go to chapter 8 of the Holy Tablets. And while you're on the way there, we were fortunate enough to find another quote in the Holy Tablets by the brother Asar and those that were with him. That's Holy Tablets, chapter 5, tablet 6, verse 81. Right? Verse 81. And Kishar, later known in Kemet as Tefnut, or Keket, who gave birth to Anu. Anu was later known in Kemet as Amun, or Elilo, right? So, just going to give you all another idea to confuse about Amun, that he's only the Messiah, but he's more than that. Amun-Rayay is also Elilo, or Anu, Allah, the Most High, Al-Hayu, by other names. And if you want more evidence of that, I'll be glad to reveal it. Now we're going to go to chapter 8, tablet 11. And the point I'm going to make right here is that Melchizedek and Malachi are two separate entities. And there's a whole section in chapter 6 called Who is Melchizedek? That if you want, I'll walk you all through it. That'll leave you without a doubt as to who he is and how he came to be Malachi himself, to be known as the angel Michael. Is everybody on chapter 8, tablet 11? Yeah. Who else is there? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. It starts off, the parables which Melchizedek spoke with me before Melchizedek was myself Malachi. In other words, in chapter 10, the mortals of the Holy Tablets, the man you refer to as Malachi Z. York met Melchizedek as a spiritual host on the streets of Brooklyn. But anyway, I'll read. Lo, Melchizedek said to Malachi, listen to me, Melchizedek said to Malachi, I know that you as the servant of Elion El are in a strange country, for your city is far from this city, and your world is far from this world. For your city in Rish is called Salem. There you are king. But your city in Tiamat, you must establish Salem. There you will be their servant. If then you know your city in which you are going to dwell, why do you here prepare lands and costly establishments and buildings and vain dwellings? And I think we all know where that place is that he built. It's Tamaray, of course. Yeah. He therefore prepares these things for this city is not able to return to his own city. O foolish and double-hearted and wretched man, do you not understand that all these things are foreign to you and are under the power of another? For the Adonai of this city will say, I do not wish you to dwell in my city because you do not use my law. If then you have fields and dwellings and many other possessions, not if, but when you are cast out by him, what will you do with your land and house and all the other things which you have prepared for yourself? For the Adonai of this country justly says to you, either use my law or go from my country. What then are you going to do, seeing that you have a law in your own city? Will you, because of your fields and other possessions, altogether deny your law and walk in the law of this city? Take heed that it be not unprofitable you deny your law. For if you wish to return back to your city, you will not be received, because you have denied the law of your city. and you will not be received, because you will be excluded from it. Take heed and make no further preparations for yourself beyond a sufficient competence for yourself, as though you were living in a foreign country. And be ready in order that whenever the master of this city wishes to expel you for resisting his law, you may go out from his city and depart to your own law, suffering no harm. Take heed then, you who serve the Yahuwah of the Elohim, not Amun-Rayay. Take heed then, you who serve the Yahuwah of the Elohims, and keep Yahuwah of the Elohim in your heart. Do the deeds of Elyon El, remembering his commands and the promises which Yahuwah of the Elohim made, and have faith in him that Elyon El will perform them, if his commandments be observed. Therefore, instead of lands, purchase afflicted souls as each is able, and look after widows and orphans, and do not despise them, and spend your wealth and all your establishments for such fields and houses as you have received from the Most High. For this reason did the Master make you rich, that you should fulfill these ministries for him. It is far better to purchase such lands in a house as you will find in your own city when you go to it. This wealth is beautiful and joyful, and has neither grief nor fear, but has joy. Follow therefore not after the wealth of the heathen, for it is unprofitable to you who are servants of Elyon El. Follow your own wealth in which you can rejoice, and do not counterfeit, nor touch that which is another's, nor desire it, for it is wicked to desire that which is another's. But do your own work, and you shall be saved. Now this is going to be confusing. I'll explain this next sentence. Find your way to your land. Let's be clear. Find your way to your land with Malachi. He'll be on it, right? Not to Malachi, but find your way to your land with Malachi. Find your way to that most holy place, Kodesh, or Tamaray, right? For there I will meet you. So you're being promised by Melchizedek that he'll meet you on the land with Malachi on it. That'll be your land, the holy land of Kodesh, or Tamaray. But you can see from the writing that is very clear that Melchizedek was speaking to Malachi as a separate entity from himself at that point. If not, I can go deeper into it, a lot deeper into it, and give you a lot more irrefutable proof.
That was complete, Amun.
Okay, if that was clear enough, then we can let it rest. And go to the next question. I know that...
question is, Amun.
I have a question.
We're in a very dangerous time right now. So there's a section, a couple of places in the Holy Tablets, that'll be a warning for mortals that I think will be very dire in these last days if you all want me to go there. But now somebody has some questions in the interim.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, I have a question.
I'll do my best.
Go ahead, sister. Go ahead.
Yes, my name is Marion from Covington, and I want to know, where are we at today according to the Holy Tablet?
Where are we today is a very good question. And I think that question would best be served if we go into the Injil, transliterated by Panababi Anun, because Revelations gives you direct and distinct information about the last days. Are you following me? But I will give you information I'll answer that question for you very shortly. And sometimes to find out what's happening in the present or the future, you have to look to the past. We're going to go to a section in the Holy Tablets called Ad and Thamud, right? Some of the overthrown cities, and I'll answer that question for you, sister.
Okay.
But right now we're still a scattered nation, and we're fragmented into Sabians and all these different sects, right? And we have to learn to come together again under one heading, because together we stand, divided we can fall. There's strength in unity. We have to remember that. Because there are some unnatural forces causing divisions among us, right? To weaken us. And somehow or another, we've all began to think of one another as adversaries rather than family members, and that's really sad. Okay? So let's go right now back to chapter 13 of your holy tablets. We can also go to chapter 15 in the beginning, tablet 1. I'll see how much of this I can get through tonight. Because these are perilous days, like I said, and these warnings have to be repetitiously recited. Okay. You're going to, okay, we chapter 15, tablet 1. Write that down for your own perusal when you get ready. And in the meantime, let's go to chapter 13. I think that'll be a better place to start. Chapter 13, for the first warning. And I can get more specific about your question, sister. Where are we at today? So if you would go to chapter 13, tablet 16 of your holy tablets. That's chapter 13, tablet 16. All right, and I'll tell you, if people question my authority as to how I teach these things, you can also mark down chapter 13, tablet 16, verse 248. That's important that we read that on the way. Chapter 13, tablet 16, verse 248. How many of you are there? I'd like to hear by roll call. How many are there?
I'm here.
Okay. Chapter 13, tablet 16, verse 248. As for those who conceal what they know to be true, and idol worshippers, those that worship idols or idly worship, could not have freed themselves from falsehood until the clear evidence came to them. That clear evidence is verse 251. He, Ahmad, which those of you know, that is who I am, also Ahmad. I am Imam Ahmad of Lansar. He, Ahmad, was sent from Elion El as an apostle, reciting the purified pages, and this is underlined in caps, the holy tablet. Right? Now, what's significant about that is that when you speak about Ahmad, you think about Ahmad that brought the Ratib in the 1800s, who's the 19th Imam succeeding Mustafa Muhammad al-Amin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who brought the Holy Quran. But that's not the Ahmad we're talking about. The Ahmad we're talking about is me. I'm on the phone with you right now, as evidenced by the fact that the holy tablets that I'm reciting to you were authored in 1997. So I couldn't be Ahmad of old or Muhammad of old. I'm here with you right now on the phone. Now we'll finish reading. He, Ahmad, was one sent from Elion El as an apostle, reciting the purified pages, the holy tablet. In it are straight inscriptions. And for those who were given the scripture, didn't become divided until after the clear evidence came to them. Because the niggas among us, when they hear that kind of proof, they'll say, oh, that's a lie, that's not true. I disagree with that. Well, this is our scripture. Wow. And there's no doubt in it. No doubt in it. Now, and for those who were given the scripture, didn't become divided until after the clear evidence came to them. They were only ordered to surely serve only El with total devotion. And El and El are just other names for Amun. And they were commanded to offer worship and to give charity. And this way of life is the straight way. Surely those who conceal what they know to be true from the family of the Scripture and the idol worshippers shall eternally be in the fire of purgatory. These are they, the most wicked of creatures. Verily, as for those who are faithful and work to perfect their beings, these are the very best of creatures. Their Rab will have their reward, the gardens of paradise, Eden, beneath which rivers flow. They will be in it eternally. El is pleased with them, and they are pleased with him. This is for whosoever dreads his Rab, El, the Most High. Right? And it goes on further to say, in chapter 17, and I think this is very important, Lo, El is the most magnificent of all things seen and unseen. Wait just a minute, let me go back a little bit. All right, that's tablet 17. Let's go ahead. Lo, El is the most magnificent of all things seen and unseen. El is the most magnificent of all things seen and unseen. Salah raised his hands towards heaven and turned his face towards the Kaaba, Qibla, in the land of El, Gore. And your Rab, El, will give you, Muhammad, speaking to me, a reward which will please thou. Did he, El, not give Muhammad a shelter when he found you, Muhammad, an orphan? And when he, El, found you, Muhammad, astray, off the path of righteousness? That's true. That's true. He guided you aright. And when El found you, Muhammad, poor and needy, he made you rich. In regards to the orphans, don't oppress them. And in reference to the beggar, doth not despise him or cast him away. And doth not keep telling tales about the grace your Rab has shown you. El is most magnificent of all things seen and unseen. Glory to my Rab, the Supreme, El, listens to those who show him gratitude. El is most magnificent of all things seen and unseen. Glory to my Rab, the Most High. El is most magnificent of all things seen and unseen. And tablet 18 is very telling as well. You'll see if you follow me along. Praise be to you, El. Well, all gratitude is due to the source, El, Rab of all the boundless universes. And this is just like the Fatiha, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman-Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu, wa Iyaka nasta'in, Ihdina Siratal Mustaqim, Siratal Ladzina, and after Lahim, Gadrel Maghdubi Alayhim, Waladdallin, Ameen. Right? But it's in English. Well, all gratitude is due to the source, El, Rab of all the boundless universes. He is the Yoda, the most merciful, the ruler of the day of decision. It's you, El, whom we worship, and it's you alone we beseech for help. Guide us to the narrow path of the news bearers who stand straight and firm, the narrow path of those who have earned your El's grace. This is not inclusive of those who stirred your anger and brought an everlasting curse on themselves. And this is not inclusive of those who drifted from the light on the right side to the darkness on the left side. You know, confused people. Now they're talking directly to me. Again, as Ahmad. Didn't we, El, and the Anunnaki expand your chest right knowledge? Sure did. And we, El, and the Anunnaki relieved all the burdens that surrounded you, Ahmad, which weighed down heavy on your back. And we, El, and the Anunnaki raised your Ahmad character, so that you too will be remembered for all times. So surely understand that with every difficulty there is ease. So surely with every difficulty, you will find ease. And this is important, verse 14. So when you, Ahmad, have finished with the duties of your mission, not Malachi's or Elijah's, so when you, Ahmad, have finished with the duties of your mission, then you must work hard and desire to return to your Rab. Amen. Amen. All right? So let's be clear. I have my own separate mission from that of Malachi, but this is like a baton race. In other words, I believe in Allah, His books, His angels, messengers, and the final and last day, right? And make no distinction between any of those. So Elijah Muhammad came with a specific mission, and when he got through with his mission, he was ordered to prepare the way for the arrival of Malachi, right? And Malachi came in succession like passing the baton. He brought everybody to another higher conscious level. And when he finished his mission, which ended in the year 2000, because 1970 to 2000 was the first half hour, and that was Malachi's time to rule, or Michael. And now from 2000 to 2030, it's Amun-Rayay's time to rule, right? So Malachi was given and trusted with the deed of preparing you all for my arrival, the arrival of the real Messiah, Amun-Rayay. And if you want further proof of that, I can give it to you. Very easily. Anybody would like to see proof of that? Wait a minute. I'm going to back up right now and in chapter 13. Okay, what page is that on? 1242. 42. Okay. All right. We want to go to chapter 13, chapter 16, the destruction of Ad. That's one of these overthrown cities like the mud that I was telling you all about. And you have to look back, sister, in order to find out where we came from and what we went through in order to find out where we are this very day. Are you following me? But believe me, if you have patience with me, I will very clearly answer your question. Sister, do you have the Holy Tablets in front of you? The sister that asked the question.
Yes, I do.
Very good.
Yes, I do.
And are you, I love you, are you in chapter 13, chapter 16?
Yes, I'm there.
All right. That's good, because we don't want to say that Amun said. All right. The destruction of Ad. Lo, and of Eber, who is Hud, he Hud was my apostle, just like Ahmad is his apostle and was. He was sent to the people of Ad. He was 1,200 and 1,200 years after my son Utnapishtim, or Noah. Only he and Shelah was to come after Utnapishtim, my son Abraham. For Hud was the son of Shelah, son of Arphaxad, son of Shem, son of Utnapishtim, son of Lamech, son of Methuselah, son of Adapha, son of Jared, son of Mahalalel, son of Canaan, son of Enos, son of Seth, son of Zachar. And of course, Adam of Zachar was the son of Atum and Lilith. At all events, I sent him to this misguided and misdirected people. I'm an apostle sent from the Most High to another misguided and misdirected people. They're very confused and lost in their beliefs and thinking. All right? At all events, I sent him to this misguided and misdirected people. For they were a notorious tribe. They were tall in height and full of strength and bravery. The tallest individuals among them were 8 feet and more, and the smallest were 6 feet or more. The people of Ad were idol worshippers. One of their idols was named Samud, and another was named Samad. They constructed great tall pillars of stone and built upon them tall edifices from which they reciprocated against any man whom their wrath was increased. Yet I, Elionel, When you are violent, you are violent. The people of Ad were mighty, addicted to idolatry, and committed all sorts of wickedness. But after their vileness had attained the highest degree, Hud, our apostle, like Ahmad, right, was sent to them. He directed that misguided tribe during 50 years to the straight road. He invited them to acknowledge the unity of me, Elion, El, and to discard idolatry or their fake beliefs, right? He threatened the people of Ad with the consequences of the sinfulness of their oppression, tyranny, and obscenity. But they trusted to their own strength and disregarded his admonitions or warnings, right? Nor did they accept his law, except a small company of them, only 12 persons, and every disciple had 12 disciples. Every prophet had 12 disciples or Shahaba companions. They followed his precepts and injunctions. Hold on. They were, however, obliged to keep their faith in Elion El, Al-Islam, Mulatto Hud, the religion of Hud, secret, for fear of being persecuted by the covers of the truth, these Kafaruna, right? Not one of the nobles of the tribe believed except one named Marsad bin Sa'ad bin Ater. And when the endeavors of Hud to convert those refractory ones had exceeded all bounds, they unanimously determined to distress and persecute him. So when they didn't like what he was saying, they wanted to distress and persecute the apostle of Elion El. The followers of Hud, 12 in number, were Uthman, Bakar, Ruda, Salem, Fuqua, Furat, Had, Sawari, Buddha, Kat, Banner, Isan, and Darud. They became aware of this intention, and when they informed him thereof, he raised his hands in prayer. He brought Al-Shadi, the Almighty, to great security to the faithful and to afflict the infidels and all the malefactors and their adherents with adversity. He ran down curses on them evil, wicked people, right? The arrow of prayer hit the target of response, and the abundance of rain in heaven was changed into scarcity. They were having droughts. The waters of their fountains, wells, and rivers were absorbed by the earth. Their gardens, parks, and tanks became desecrated. Lastly, the fire of hunger and famine was kindled in the stomachs of those heedless people. And during 7 years, they were afflicted with the misery of death. But compassion being one of the qualities of the apostle, Hud admonished them on that occasion, saying, "Oh, you misguided people, have faith in Elion El, that this punishment and calamity may be removed from you, because it is only the consequence of your rebellion and disobedience." They, however, considered his admonitions and promises to be impossible, and persisted in their former ways, not paying attention to Hud's preachings, but continuing in their infidelity and wickedness, saying, "We cannot abandon the worship of our idols for the sake of your words." And when the famine had culminated in the most acute distress, and they had neither bread nor water, they unanimously decided to send a number of men to Becca in order to pray for rain. It was the custom at that time that when any calamity befell a faithful person in the unity of Elion El, or an infidel, he betook himself to the sanctuary of Al-Rab, whose magnificence be glorified, which was situated in the locality of the Kaaba, where a red hill stood. And after he had prayed, his wish was granted. At that time, the inhabitants of the blessed city of Becca were the children of Amalek, the son of Lad, at that time, son of Shem, and they were called Amalekites. The sheriff, or Sharif of Becca, and chief of that tribe was Muawiyah bin Bakar. His mother's name was Kokahara, the daughter of Kabiri of the tribe of Ad. When the calamity of famine had arisen among the Adites, they sent the headmen of their people, such as Quil, son of Aiz, Lukman, son of Ad, Baquam, son of Halal, son of Marsad, son of Aquir, Syed, son of Haliqua, son of Kabiri, the maternal uncle of Muawiyah, son of Bakar, and many others, the number of 70, under the leadership of the above-named Quil, to the noble city of Becca with instructions to stay in that sacred place for the purpose of praying for rain. This company started from their homes as they were bidden, and after the termination of their journey, they arrived in Becca and alighted at the house of Muawiyah, son of Bakar, who waited upon them with abundance of food and drink, and also ordered a singing girl, Mawis by name, to entertain the people of Ad. The ambassadors of this tribe, who had exchanged the calamity of death and hunger for the pleasure of tranquility and comfort, for the distress of Ad and the prayer for rain, so that they remained a full month in the neighborhood of the sanctuary in the house of Muawiyah, engaged in joy and pleasure, following up their nocturnal potations with mutual draughts. They was eating and drinking, right? And vice versa, incessantly beating the drum of joviality and never caring for good or ill luck. After protracted stay of these guests in Muawiyah's house, the host became distressed and said to himself, "These men have come to ask for rain, but they have taken to drinking intoxicants, and my relatives have remained afflicted with famine. Now, if I admonish my guests, they will probably attribute my advice to stingingness and will say that I am weary of entertaining them." At last, he composed a piece of poetry wherein he alluded to the carelessness of Quil and his companions and to the misery of their friends at home. And he also incited them to ask for rain and reminded them of the helpless state of the Adites. He made the singing girl Mawis learn these verses and chant them at the banquet. The guests were admonished by the constant repeating of their own procrastination, reproached each other, and began to make arrangements necessary for the prayer, such as offering sacrifices. They also prepared to go to the customary place for making the necessary inquiries. On that occasion, Marsad, son of Syed, who had arrived, kept his faith secret, informed them that if they did not have faith, their apostle, not Ahmad back then, but the absolute benefactor, would not grant the rain. He also recited verses to them. They perceived from the words of Marsad that he belonged to the company of Muslims. Therefore they separated from him and hastened to the place of prayer. And having taken refuge with the beneficent donor, this apostle, right, there was an appearance of clouds, one white, one red, and the third black. A voice was heard from above saying, "O Quil, select one of these three clouds." Quil imagined that the black cloud would give more rain than the others. He selected it and said, "I have chosen the black cloud because it contains most water." Suddenly, a herald's voice was heard, "You have chosen ashes. Not a single individual of the tribe of Ad will be left. It will spare neither the father nor the sons." Then Ilionel, sender of winds, dispatched the black cloud selected by Quil, which contained a storm of chastisement and of vengeance towards Aquaf. The hill sands were moved by the wind to the tribe of Ad. When the latter perceived the approaching cloud, they joyfully pointed it out to each other, saying, This is the cloud, the showers of which will refresh and gladden the garden of our expectation." And the blessed verse, they said, "This is a traversing cloud which brings us rain." In conformity of this confirmity of this assertion, Illinois also says, nay, it is what you demanded to be hastened, and a wind wherein is a severe vengeance. This is because when Hood, my apostle, called the people of Ad and threatened them with divine punishment, they diverted and challenged him to fulfill his threats. It is said that the first person among the Adites who became aware of this dreadful catastrophe was a woman by the name of Mahad, who shouted for fright when she beheld the cloud, and then she fainted. When she recovered herself, she was asked for the cause which made her lose her senses, and she said, I beheld something which shines like fire, and I perceived a fearful troop drawing it towards us. The terror of the spectacle had overwhelmed me. When Hood had cast a glance upon the dark cloud, he knew it was upon that dark cloud. He knew it was to be the beginning of the chastisement. By divine command, he left the people of Ad. You have to understand that for this day and time, the last days, sister, he sent me, Ahmad, as an apostle, as your warner, right? And for me to recite the purified pages, the holy tablets, to show you what happened in the past when he sent apostles and people ignored them and tried to challenge him. You know, just how they were cursed, damned, and killed and ushered into the flames of hell for their disobedience. Okay, 120. By the divine command, he left the people of Ad and proceeded with 4,000 individuals to Yanbu. And drawing, okay, are you still here, sister? Mary?
Yes, I am. I'm following you. Yes.
Okay, all right. Yes. Okay, and drawing with his blessed finger a line on the ground to encompass his followers in the similitude of a stronghold, he ordered that no one should overstep it or withdraw his head from the line on obedience until the calamity had elapsed. Hood went with his followers into Mesopotamia, where they enjoyed pleasant breezes, and the people of Ad had become aware of the motion of the air and the greatness of the calamity. They assembled in a circular encampment, holding fast to each other and binding even their garments together, saying, let the wind of Hood do its worst. No ill will befall us. Well, the storm commenced, however, by raising their animals and cattle with their women and children from the ground and sent them flying into the air. When they fell back again and were dashed to pieces. And the Adites saw this. They endeavored to flee to their houses, but the wind overtook and utterly destroyed them under the ruins. There are people hanging up that don't want to hear this right now, and they're rushing away from us into the fire. Some remained outside, and trusting in the strength of their bodies, they dug their legs into the ground as far as the knee and tried to stand up. Asar, are you here? Brother Asar?
Yeah, I'm here, Asar.
All right.
I'm here.
All right. And they tied their clothes together and trusted in their strength. And they dug their feet in the ground as far as the knee, right? And tried to stand up. But they fared no better than the others. The storm continued to rage during 7 days and shadow hours until it extirpated the whole tribe. This time period is called the Jews because when the great hurricane took place, an old woman of the tribe of Ad concealed herself in a house underground. And on the third day, however, the wind reached her also and joined her, Mimiat by name, to her former friends. And that the quill and all the envoys of the Adites had terminated their prayers and were staying near the sanctuary, they beheld a man riding on a camel in great haste. He informed them that he, Utman by name, was one of the followers of Hood, the apostle, traveling from the country of the Adites to Kim, Egypt. and that their whole tribe had perished in the hurricane of annihilation. Quill and his companions were distressed at the news and said, "O all-powerful nourisher, cause us to taste the same cup which you have made our tribe drink of, because without them our life is of no value." Their request was granted, and El ordered the wind to come to convey them into the fire of hell. Luqman, son of Ad, who was also named the companion of light, besought the arbiter of life and death to grant him the lifetime of 7 eagles. His prayer was heard. He successfully caught young eagles and brought them up. Each of them lived 80 years and then died. Luqman, son of Ad, called the 7th eagle Labad, having the meaning of 1,000 years. When the eagle had become larger, it used to fly out. One day, however, when the eagles flew away from the top of the mountain, Luqman did not see it among them. He became uneasy and called Labad to ascertain the reason for his not flying out. He also cajoled him to do so. But after making a fruitful effort to get up, Labad again fell to the ground, and his soul took flight. At that very moment, the born of Luqman's soul was liberated from the cage of his body, and he hastened to the master of eternity, Malakut. When the people of Ad had been overtaken by the vengeance of El, Hud invited his followers to emigrate. They accordingly went to Becca, the sepulchres of Hud, which was moved from the Red Hill and situated between the house of the assembly and the gate of the seal of the newsbearers of El, has inscribed, "Omit. I hear and obey in the name of El. I am Hud, the apostle of the creator of the heavens and the earth, sent to the people of Ad, whom I invited to accept the faith and to abandon idols. But they refused, and the storm destroyed them. So evil Hud was also his name." Now they give a description of the messenger or the apostle of the Most High. His manners were extremely affable and jovial. His body was very hairy. He was also called a Bud, had no teeth in old age, and was very thin, and the color of a cloudy day, very dark, with pale white eyes, short arms, and big feet. He was very pious, obstentious, liberal, amiable, and a great almsgiver. His miracles were so many, one of which was that when the people of Ad were in trouble about the passage of their sheep and cattle, they requested that Hud would accept his religion. He accordingly uttered a prayer, whereupon the gravel was changed into mud, which soon produced abundant grass and springs of water. But despite the miracle, those hard-hearted wretches did not have faith. On another occasion, when he happened to be traveling with several other persons, all were so distressed by rain and lightning that it seemed to them impossible either to stop or to move. Then his Rab, that means the apostle of the Most High, began to pray. And the wind brought so many blocks of earth that they were enabled to build a shelter, which they abandoned after the weather had again cleared up. The length of his mission and his life was 460 and 500 years after the destruction of the tribe of Ad. And of Shadid and Shaddad. Shadid and Shaddad were twin brothers of the children of Ad. They grew to govern almost the whole inhabited world and dwelt in Syria. Though Shadid was an idolater, and the sheep and the wolf became friends on account of his great justice, and the hog dared not to attack the partridge on account of his perfect government, it is recorded that he appointed a Qadi, that means a judge, in his country named Iqbal, and laid down rules for his guidance. But after the expiration of a whole year, he had not a single case to judge. The Qadi Iqbal then informed the ruler that he did not consider himself entitled to the salary of his office, because no one had lodged any complaint during the just mentioned period of time. Shadid replied that he must nevertheless continue in his appointment and draw his pay. Sometimes afterward, two individuals made their appearance in the court of justice. One complained that he purchased a piece of ground from the other, in which a treasure had been discovered. And though he had invited him to take possession of the treasure, he refused, replying that he had sold the land to the buyer with everything it contained. The Qadi Iqbal made inquiries and found that one of these men had a son and the other a daughter. Therefore, he ordered them to be married to each other and the treasure to be given to them. It is related that Heber, who had often visited Shadid, invited him to accept his religion, but he always demurred and died an infidel. When Shaddad ascended to the throne of royalty, after his brother's death by the arrow of an assassin at a hunt, Shaddad, the new ruler, was ordered by Hud to have faith in the unity of Elyon El, and to worship him. But Shaddad, like his twin Shadid, also refused and said, if I receive your religion and worship and magnify your creator, Elyon El only, what will he give me in return? Hud replied, eternal life in paradise. Then Shaddad continued, this is easy, and I shall even in this world make us a paradise. Accordingly, he set about it, and dispatched ambassadors to Zuhal, who was his sister's son, who reigned at the time over the empire of Jamshid, requesting him to send all the silver, gold, and jewels he could spare. It's 10:30, y'all. I'm going to pause for a second and then continue, but let's step outside. Sister Marie, please look up at the sky and tell me what you see. I'm going to perform some miracles for you all right now so you can know who I am and who sent me again. Believe me, and stay away from those that challenge me, because those demons are out there. The rebellious natures. What do you all see outside the sky? Wherever you are. Make case, family. This is not a joke. Go ahead.
I see a star.
You see a star, and where are you located, brother?
Nigeria, brother.
Nigeria, okay.
Nigeria.
I love you. I love you. All right. Raise up in the name of the Messiah. Raise up, star.
It's raising up.
All right. Thank you for telling us what you see. All right. Drop down in the name of Amun-Rayay.
Dropping down. Dropping down.
All right. Go in a circle clockwise and take this brother into the future.
He is.
Is he going in a circle?
It's moving.
All right. All right, come closer to the brother in the name of Amun-Rayay.
Come closer.
Yes. I see it. And my eyes are closed. Now go back out in the name of the Messiah. All right, who's next? What do you see in London? What do you see in Canada? What do you see in Texas? What do you see in Virginia?
It's
in Florida?
Overcast and up in Canada right now.
Okay, well, I'll move the clouds. Go ahead, sister.
I see a star.
All right, in London. Okay. Is this Cheryl?
Yeah.
Well, we work. You got a beautiful, powerful package being put together for you, beloved. All right, that star is we're gonna move that star to the left for you, Cheryl.
Thank you. Moving left.
Yes. Now up and over and move back to the right in the name of Amun-Rayay, formerly known as Ahmad.
Moving.
All right.
Moving.
Now move up in the name of Amun-Rayay.
Moving up.
Moving up.
All right. Now drop down in the name of the Messiah.
Dropping down. It's bright as well.
It's wobbling. I know it's moving around. It's my mind. I haven't been sleeping a couple of days. That's all. All right. Move clockwise to take that sister, faithful sister, into the future. Move in a circle clockwise.
Moving clockwise.
Moving clockwise.
All right.
Oh.
I love you. We got one more person that want to move something. Okay. Can you all see the Orion star constellation?
Yes, we can. I can.
All right. I'm going to make that move to the left. Move, Orion, to the left.
See Orion.
Moving.
Now, Orion, move up.
I see the moving.
Yes. Thank you, son.
Moving up.
All right. Now move back to the right in the name of the Messiah.
Moving right.
All right.
Moving.
The Sister Marie, you don't see that happening in the sky? If you don't, I want you to pick out your own star or moon. What do you see up there, Marie? Marie, what do you see in the sky?
It's cloudy.
All right. Well, I'm going to make you see the clouds? I'm going to make the clouds move to the left for you. In the name of Amun-Rayay, clouds, move to the left for Marie.
No, I don't see no clouds in the sky. It's just...
Oh, you know,
overcast.
it's cloudy, but you don't see clouds. Okay, go ahead. Asar, you said something?
Yeah.
Say it again, Asar.
She in Covington. It's here in Covington. You can't. It's just pure.
I understand. Overcast, right? It's no. All right, no problem. Okay, let's go back and finish up the Holy Tablets. It's important that I finish this with you all. Now, what verse are we on? Somebody?
200.
Okay. Zuhar complied with the demand and had treasures of untold value conveyed to Syria. This is guy that Hood told to worship Ilion El, and he'll get eternal life. And he told him, I'll build a paradise right here. So he sent for his brother-in-law to give him money, all right? After having collected the means, okay, he selected a locality for building and found it in one of the districts of Syria. The atmosphere whereof breathed the air of paradise, and the running brooks of which recalled to the mind the rivers of the Garden of Eden, flowing with milk and honey. He quickly assembled architects endowed with skill and taste, who built an enclosure for the park, the extent whereof surpassed the aspirations of the poor. His bread was greater than the intentions of the benevolent, and his height almost reached the vault of heaven. In the garden he built a castle, the likes of which had not been seen since the creation of the world. Its walls were raised with all the causes of brick, gold, and silver. Its roof consisted of sheets of gold, inlaid with rubies and all sorts of precious stones, and its columns were of crystal. Instead of gravel, they poured precious stones into the rivulets. They constructed trees of pure gold and stuffed them with amber and ambergris, so that when the wind blew, the perfume emanated from the trees. Instead of earth, the ground consisted of chiffon and amber. It is said that the 12,000 turrets, constructed of pure silver and gold, adorned with sapphires and rubies, emeralds and the like, decorated the circuit of the castle. There were 500 guards, each of whom had a separate house. Moon-faced women and sun-like maidens were collected from the whole world. These who excited the envy of fairies and the jealousy of the maidens of heavens were collected to abide in that locality, and the construction whereof all the money that existed in the world had been expended. When the news of the completion of the project reached Sadat, who was at that time in Had Harbor, he marched there with an army more numerous than the ants or locusts. When he arrived at the distance of one stage from the garden, he perceived a fawn whose feet was of silver, horns of gold, and eyes of rubies. Shaddad was so enchanted with the beauty and elegance of the fawn that he pursued it on horseback and went far away from his army into the desert. All of a sudden, a rider appeared to him who said, "Have you, with this building which you have constructed, found freedom from death?" All the limbs of Shaddad began to quake, and he asked, "Who are you?" The cavalier replied, "I am Enki. I am the angel of death, Israel." Shaddad then asked, What have you to do with me? And what do you want from me?" Israel rejoined, "Your soul." Shaddad became very disturbed and said, "Give me quarter until I cast one glance upon the edifice I have built." The Anunnaki continued, "I have no command from Al-Rab at all about this matter." Thereon Shaddad fell from his horse and abandoned his impure spirit to the cleanser of souls. On that occasion also, all that magnificent army heard a voice from heaven and hastened after Shaddad into the lower pits of the infernal regions. It is recorded that Israel, Eliel once asked whether during all the time he had engaged in taking souls, had he ever felt pity for anyone, and whether an impression of the weakness and helplessness of anyone had ever been upon his mind. Israel replied, "I was sorry for two individuals. The one was an infant born in a ship, which went to pieces at the very moment in the vehemence of a storm, and the child remained floating on a piece of plank in the boundless ocean. The other was Shaddad, who had undergone so much trouble and entertained great hopes until he had completed that palace of enjoyment, whereof he was after all deprived." After Israel, Eliel had finished this recital, a divine allocation reached him of the following purpose. "O Israel, I swear by my glory and magnificence that the helpless infant whom you have seen on the plank was no other than Shaddad, whom I raised from that state to his high dignity and bestowed upon him all that power and opulence. But he became rebellious and ungrateful and was overtaken by my sore displeasure, and he fell prey to my wrath. Let us fly to Eliel for refuge from his anger." And after Shaddad's death, that palace, high and magnificent as it was, disappeared from the eyes of men, and that no one had ever seen it except Abdullah, son of Kolaba, who went there during the Khalifa of Muawiyah. The circumstances of that event were as follows. Abdullah happened to lose the camel and went in search of it through the desert. All of a sudden, he arrived near the garden and beheld a locality which even the flights of his imagination had never reached before. Though he tried much to obtain and possess it either of a brick of the garden wall or of one of the precious stones which adorned the turrets, he could not succeed. At last he perceived the gems which had been thrown into the brooks. He therefore carried off as many of them as he was able, brought them to Muawiyah, and narrated his whole adventure. Muawiyah was greatly astonished and asked Ka'ab, the chronicler, who was well acquainted with the historians of our ancestors. Ka'ab replied, "Now that palace and that pageantry belong to Shaddad, and have survived till our time. As for those who conceal what they know to be true, and idol worshippers could not have freed themselves from falsehood until the clear evidence came to them. He, Ahmad, was once sent from El as an apostle, reciting the purified pages, the holy tablet. Damn it, it's me. I'm telling you, stop playing. I love you all. Write your testimonies. Learn your packages. Post these posts up, especially in Facebook. Let's do what we're supposed to do and make this mission successful. I love you all. Nietzsche Authority, Amun-Rayay Asa, formerly known as Imam Ahmad Abdullah Muhammad Al-Mahdi of the Ansar.